Hi, welcome back to the channel Tarot Yogi. I'm Vinit. I read tarot intuitively, and today we have another really special timeless pick a card reading on what are your external superpowers, what are your strongest personality traits and willpower. And today's reading is really special because it's a collaboration between Lexi the Leo and me. She's going to be covering your internal superpowers, what are your strongest psychic abilities and your healing powers. And this was her beautiful idea, so please do go head over to Lexi the Leo's channel that we all know and love and go re-binge watch all her readings. Go check out the second part to this reading that she's covering on her channel. And I'm just so honored and I'm so grateful to collaborate with you, Lexi the Leo. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it. It's truly an honor. And I would also really like to thank a lot of the subscribers who have been manifesting this collaboration. So thank you so much for requesting this collaboration. And I also really want to give a quick shout out to Celtic Fairy Tarot because she's been super encouraging with my channel, and she's really been pushing me to reach out and to collaborate with people. So I'm honestly so grateful for all your encouraging words, Celtic Fairy Tarot. I really appreciate it. And having said that, we have three piles to choose from. Pile number one, we have Shy. Pile number two, we have Pata. Pile number three, we have Sokar. So take a minute, see what pile is being called to you intuitively. The description box below will have the timestamp for your pile. And again, remember, these are general readings, so please take what resonates, leave the rest. And if you like my style of reading, please like this video, share, subscribe, comment. It means a lot, it helps the channel grow. And if you want to reach out for a private reading, you can definitely do that. My email ID and my Instagram handle are given in the description box below. So you can definitely reach out for a private reading. And please do go head over to Lexi the Leo's channel that we all know and love. Go re-binge watch all her readings. Go show her lots of love and let her know you came from Tarot Yogi. And I will see you guys in your reading. Thank you. Hello, pile number one. If you chose the Shy card, this is your reading on what are your external superpowers, what are your strongest personality traits and willpower. And Lexi the Leo is going to be covering the second part of this reading, which is what are your internal superpowers, what are your psychic abilities and your healing powers. So we'll jump into the reading, which is we're asking your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, ascended master, star family today. What are your strongest external superpowers and your strongest personality traits? We thank you for these clear, concise, and accurate messages. We thank you for always guiding us, especially when we need it the most. Okay, pile number one, we have Nine of Cups, we have Ten of Swords, the Emperor, Lovers, Five of Swords, Five of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, Page of Wands, Four of Cups, and we have the Shy card, which is in the family of Neph, which is Winds. So pile number one, you're extremely magical. You're extremely magical. And Lexi the Leo is definitely going to go in more on your magical abilities. But what I really want to focus on today is the way you're able to transmute things. I think you understand the laws of transmutation very well. I think you have been planted in circumstances that are very dense, that are very heavy. Things that would surely bring anyone down, surely would break anyone's spirit. But what happens with you is, yes, it does break your spirit, but what it does is you sort of crack open into a much purer version of yourself. I'm getting the imagery of the egg over here. You're literally evolving into a very lighter version of yourself every time you go through something really bad. Most things that would take people out, that has just made you stronger. And this is a very inherent personality trait you have, and this is more powerful than you realize, because with this understanding, you are able to even transmute your own consciousness, and you quite literally, quite physically and metaphysically ascend. You're very powerful in terms of you would be given very limited resources, but you're very crafty and you're very smart and you're very innovative in the way you sort of create everything out of nothing or out of those limited objects. You understand how to put things together and how to break things apart to build something better. You could be very good with very hands-on things. You would be very good at doing hands-on things. You're someone who would thrive maybe going on a hike or something like that, and I feel you also feel very grounded when you're outside. You're definitely someone who enjoys the outdoors more than the indoors, definitely, and your ability to sort of apply these alchemy formulae to your everyday life. I think a lot of y'all do it consciously, but a lot of y'all in this pile might even be doing it unconsciously, where you just know. It's almost like claircognizance. Lexi the Leo will definitely go more into that, but you sort of use your claircognizance, and you use your ability to know. Like, for example, you're the kind of person that would learn from other people's mistakes. You wouldn't necessarily make the same mistakes to learn those lessons that maybe your friend learned. So you're very smart, and you always use whatever you have learned to further your knowledge game. And this makes you immensely powerful because you're able to create things. You're able to create things out of thin air because you just understand the laws that are working at a much deeper level over here. It's almost like you're applying your own formulas of inner alchemy that you have gone through. You're applying all those formulae to your everyday life. And you're able to make the most of any kind of given situation. Let me give you an example. If someone is panicking about something, you would be calm enough to come up with an actual solution because you were not the one panicking. You're very harmonious. You're very much on your masculine energy. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, anything in the middle. You're very much on your masculine energy, but this masculine energy is very balanced with your feminine and your higher self. It's like you're very much in tandem with what your higher self wants you to do, and you're also sort of protecting your own feminine self. You're protecting your own feminine version by just extrapolating this very masculine dominant energy and pushing it outwards. you know and like I said, a lot of things that would bring a lot of people down, it has only made you stronger. You're able to create things out of your perceived weaknesses. And you're also very smart. I think you also enjoy it at like a deeper level. You sort of like being misjudged. You like being underestimated because then you can just ruthlessly just go in for the kill. And you very much do that. A lot of people are also very intimidated by you because most people don't have the kind of endurance that you have. Most people don't have the tenacity that you have. Most people would not survive what you have gone through. Pile number one. And you still maintain this beautiful harmony with your higher self. In fact, all these experiences have just got you much closer to your higher self over here. you know and I think you're very tired. I think you're very, very weary. I think you know this about yourself as well. I think you know that you have like a never ending supply of willpower. And it gets to you at time because you understand that you won't be able to completely experience the elasticity of your soul unless you go through these experiences. And what you don't realize is you're sort of building an empire. Pile number one. Whatever you do, even if you're working a 9 to 5, please understand you're meant to build an empire with all these magical alchemical abilities. You don't even have to be overtly spiritual. You could very much go and work in the corporate world over here. But you're able to apply these very occult and hidden principles. You really pay attention to what is not being said. you know you're very good at that, and that is again coming from your alchemical gifts. you know you just understand a lot of things without without people needing to have to explain that to you in like great detail. Like few words are enough for you to understand what is happening. And you're not an escapist. You definitely have a very dreamy world. You definitely have a very strong imagination, and your ability to visualize is also very, very strong, but you're able to ground it and you're able to manifest it and bring it into real life. You somehow just understand whatever the project needs to bring it to life. Again, it's I'm sort of making these magician analogies because that's what you're doing. You're sort of breathing life into things. You're breathing life into some very everyday things. you know and people definitely around you can say that you have a spirit that does not break. Even when you have been betrayed, even when you have been backstabbed, even when you have been abandoned, you haven't abandoned yourself. By number one, you know, your willpower is unmoving, and because of that, if you haven't already reached a place where you're super stable, let me tell you, you're very, very close to it. So now is not the time to give up. you know and let me tell you, you will get everything that you ever asked for. You're a very powerful manifester. And like I said, your strength lies in your ability of actually manifesting what you're asking for. And your manifestations also come in easy because you are in direct contact with your higher self. You're just doing all the right things. File number one is what I want to say. You know, and you also have a lot of discipline. You understand delayed gratification. You take things in phases. You understand that you have to be at a certain level for a while to completely sort of ace that and then go up. You're in no hurry like other people. You don't want to become a billionaire in like the shortest amount of time. That's not what you're focused on. You're focused on actual growth. And you extend this to other people as well who really want to grow. So you are a leader of sorts here as well. Pile number one. you know like I said, even if you're doing a 9 to 5, you're meant to climb up and be the CEO. You're meant to have an effect on a lot of people because the way you rule, you rule through your heart. Pile number one. And it's very important that we have leaders like you. We have way too many tyrants just running around. We'll take the dogs as confirmation, but we just have too many tyrants just running around, just barking to glory and not doing anything. But you understand the importance of power. You understand what good can be done with the power, and you're actually creating change in the world. Again, it comes back to applying transmutation to things, people, places, even your own consciousness. you know and a lot of people may say that you're very, very lucky. A lot of people may say that you get things easily, or even if and I'm getting a lot of y'all are also very, very attractive in this pile. So people may downplay your achievements by saying you have pretty privileged, things like that, whatever. It doesn't really matter, because people who are insecure, they're just projecting onto you because they really want to be you, but they sort of can't be you because they're just not ready to put in the kind of work that you have. You have an unmovable spirit. Like I said, you have this very, very fixed sign energy kind of way of doing things. You have this very fixed sign way of doing things. And you have this very stubborn personality trait, which actually works in your favor because you don't let it limit you. You in fact use it, and you get things done, which a lot of people find very difficult to do. You understand delayed gratification, therefore, you're able to invest in things and be patient enough for actually, to actually bear the fruit that it needs to bear. You see things through, is what I'm trying to say over here. And I think as time passes, you will expand the egos of your own boundary. And I really want you to know that sky is the limit for you. Pile number one. You can have it all and then some. And I think you are just in the process of understanding your true power, and just understanding how the previous whatever the previous circumstances were, it doesn't really matter to transmute things into where you want them to be. You're very good at rearranging things in a very physical, material way. And this is how you're also going to create your stability and your abundance and your finances. Trust me, you have a beautiful skill, you have a beautiful gift. And you're going to be able to use this to create whatever you require, desire, need. you know like I said, the only limit you have is you. The only limit you have on yourself is you. you know but you have a very powerful mind, so it can even work against you. I think you are your worst critic. You're definitely your worst critic. And I don't think people often get to see this side of you, but it's very much present. you know and but like I said, you don't stay down very, very long. You don't stay in a conflicts very, very long. You sort of understand that in certain scenarios, the answer lies in the heart, and you're not afraid to go there. You're not afraid to be honest with yourself also. To really address the guilt, shame, that you feel around things, or people, places, like I said, it doesn't stop you. In fact, it just fuels you to even do much, much better than what you did before. You are your biggest competition, and you understand that. You're not affected by what other people have to say. You definitely enjoy, the sort of praise you get, but you don't live for it, by number one. You live for bettering yourself. And this is very evident in the way you live your life. you know like, people will not tell you how much they really admire your endurance and your discipline, and just your ability to create the kind of structures that are necessary for growth without being super oppressive or domineering. And like I said, these are qualities of a great leader. These are qualities of the kind of leader we all need right now. you know and again, my eyes are going to the fire in the back, in the emperor card. And like I said, even if you have been given the worst kind of situation, let me give you this example. It's like those shows where they go and give people like a makeover in their house. Like, you would probably go into the dirtiest house, and you would be able to create something very beautiful, respecting the structure of that house. you know you just know how to add things to make things beautiful, again, in a very structured, in a very physical way. You sort of get these visions, you get this strong visual energy, and you're actually able to put it to ground and you know create it. You don't get stuck in that creative process, and you don't even let your ego get in the way. You understand that you have to sort of curb your ego a little to do the kind of things you're doing, pile number one. And you have this very great understanding, which makes you really, really commendable and really unstoppable. I really want you to know that. And we have Page of Wands, and this Page of Wands, he's listening to the birds. And like I said, I'm strongly getting that you're very, very connected to your ancestors, your higher self. So you listen to things. You listen when to take action, you listen when to stop. You're very good at following strategy, and you're very good at even understanding strategy. And this just makes you super unstoppable. Like, imagine just the worst kind of scenarios, the worst possible situations, circumstances anyone could have been given. And you have been given that, and you always rise to the top, and you always use it to your advantage. This is more than a survival skill. This is a thriving skill, pile number one. And you have this. You definitely have this. And you're also very patient. You look back, you look at what you've created. You have this ability to see what is right, what is wrong. Maybe you can see if your metaphorical plant needs more water, or it needs more sunlight, and you make those necessary changes. You don't get stuck. You don't get even stuck on your initial vision, because you understand that even you grow, and the changes and the things you want also change. So you follow direction very, very well. You're also a team player. People trust you. In fact, I would say a lot of people also want to follow you over here, just because they sort of see the light you have, and they see that you have been able to create things that would be very difficult for someone who's coming from your background. Whether you're rich, poor, it doesn't matter. you know so this is something very, very admirable about you, pile number one. you know Pile number one, I feel you have been physically built to, like I said, endure things. And that's where your power lies, because you're able to sort of reach places, things, objectives that most people would give up. Like, you would be very good at maybe giving government exams. I'm just giving an example. You don't have to give a government exam, but it just came to me because they're highly competitive exams, right? And it you really have to be patient, and you have to understand the bigger picture, and still get things done. And I think that just really sums up who you are as a person. you know you have this innate understanding that yes, you are psychic, and you don't just stop there. You sort of use your psychic abilities in a very practical sense. You sort of use it as a science experiment. You sort of make your observations and you study the outcomes and you sort of make a mental note, and you sort of keep doing that. You have this data tabulation mental hard drive somewhere where you're able to get all this information, you know and again, that makes you super resourceful because you don't get stuck at all, you know and even if people are trying to get you to be stuck, you again just sort of rise above it all. You rise above the competition that you didn't even know you were in. By number one, and I think that is super super cool. you know you're not going to be down and out for a very very long time. You snap out of things very very fast, and you're just a great doer. I think everyone would sort of really want someone like you on their team. By number one, and I know a lot of you all may not feel like that. I think a lot of you all just are trying to get through the day, just trying to do whatever, like get through the day, but understand that you are super special. By number one, and a lot of people, if they were in your place, they would not be able to endure or withstand the kind of things you have withstood. By number one, you understand your own strength, and you understand where you come from, and you don't let that get in the way of you doing anything. you know Shuffle some oracle. Okay, pile number one, we have the dog card, which reads friend. Today I will love without condition. My energy and enthusiasm are an inspiration. I choose to be happy. I am protected and friend. So you're very, very loyal. Like I said, you see things through, and that actually gives you the ability to reach things that most people wouldn't be able to reach, to sort of reach, you're sort of able to reach summits that most people would give up on, you know, and that makes you really, really commendable. This makes you extremely commendable, and you stay very very loyal to the cause. You don't lose sight of your starting point. You see it till the end. And that gives you the strength of being able to complete projects and reach summits that most people wouldn't be able to reach, because they just wouldn't be able to sort of withstand things the way you can. By number one, you're a very hardy person. You're very headstrong. You're also very very stubborn, but you're stubborn about the right things, and therefore you're able to actually get things done. I'm sure you've had a lot of experiences where you've really proven people wrong without even trying to prove people wrong, just because your vision wasn't exactly understood, and you still understood that you had to do what needs to be done, and you've always succeeded at that. So you're definitely admired, and you're definitely someone who a lot of people are jealous of also, because they just can't be you. By number one, please understand this about yourself. you know any other messages? You don't stay stuck very very long in situations. You bounce back very fast, and you get your new beginnings. So a lot of people who've really tried to sort of stop you and try to dim your light, it has only made you shine brighter. And I really want you to remember this. By number one, you're an extremely powerful individual who can actually create change in material reality. Do not underestimate this. Any other messages? Yeah, that's all I have for pile number. Once again, it's a general reading, so please take what resonates, leave the rest. And if you like my style of reading, please like this video, share, subscribe, comment. It means a lot. It helps the channel grow. And if you want to reach out for a private reading, you can definitely do that. My email ID and my Instagram handle are given in the description box below, so you can definitely reach out for a private reading. And please do go check out the extended reading on Lexi the Leo's channel, where she's covering your internal superpowers, your strongest psychic abilities, and your healing abilities. So please do go head over to Lexi the Leo's channel, go show her lots of love, go binge watch all her videos, and I will see you guys in the next reading. Thank you. Hello, pie number two. If you chose the Pitta card, this is your reading on what are your strongest external superpowers and what are your strongest personality traits and willpower. And please do go check out the second part of this reading on what are your strongest internal superpowers and your most powerful psychic abilities and healing abilities, which is on Lexi the Leo's channel. I will link it in the description box below. So please do go check out her channel, her readings, and go binge watch all her content. And having said that, let's jump into the reading. We are asking angels, ancestors, spirit guides, ascended master, star family today. What are your strongest external superpowers. Okay, pile number 2, we have the Wheel of Fortune. We have Two of Pentacles, Keeper of Swords, which is Queen of Swords, Three of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, the Hangman, King of Wands, and we have the Ten of Pentacles and the Temperance card. So what are your strongest external superpowers and your strongest personality traits is you have an ability to create. You're very strong. You could be someone who's always very excited. You definitely have a very extroverted personality, or at least that's how you come off to people. You are a great initiator. You're good at getting things done. You're good at getting things started. You are a great initiator. You're very good at getting things started. For example, you could very much be a cardinal sign over here, because this is giving very cardinal sign energy, which is Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, and Libra. You're very good at getting things moving. You're not someone who will take forever to decide something. You will decide something and just get it done. You're not someone who's going to maybe think forever for hours to maybe shop something. You like it, you're going to purchase it. You're the kind of person who comes up with plans, and you're the one who also like puts things together. You also come up with the plans, and I think this is really admirable about you, especially among your friends and your family, because they always know that you are that person who's going to sort of come and help and get things done. And you will always just sort of have an answer. You will always have like a very quick, on your feet way of getting things done. You're very good at creating things, and you're very good at pushing that forward. Like I'm getting this image of a rock star who has broken their feet, but they're still sort of making a whole stadium of people. I'm getting this visual of a rock star who has broken his foot, but he's still making the whole sort of crowd go crazy. You have that strength and you have that ability. I'm not saying you have a broken foot, but I'm just saying that with the limited sort of resources that you have, you're not going to complain. In fact, you're going to use it and see how it's going to work in your favor. Pile number 2, whatever circumstance you are in, you really make it work for yourself. Whatever limited circumstances you have been given, you always are able to get the ball rolling. Where a lot of people would complain about them not having this or that, you make do with what you have, and you're able to succeed in doing that. You sort of show people that you don't always need to have things to get things done. Like for example, you don't need to have like 20 tarot decks to give someone a tarot reading. Even if you have like the very simple classic Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you can give someone a reading. You don't you're someone who really emphasizes that they don't need to have 50 decks in their collection. And again, this is just an analogy over here. You can fit to your situation. You're very crafty, and you're sort of able to apply your understanding to things. You're able to analyze the situation, and you're able to come up with the perfect sort of solution over there. And you're very good at juggling things. I think a lot of y'all may have like multiple streams of revenue. Maybe a lot of y'all are doing multiple jobs. Maybe a lot of y'all are studying and working, or something like that. But you're very good at juggling these things, even if you feel you're not. Even if you feel you're going crazy, people really admire how gracefully you manage everything. You could be working out and studying and working. You have a lot of things on your plate, but you get it done, and you get it done very gracefully, is what I'm trying to say over here. You're very perceptive. Like I said, you're very analytical. We have the Queen of Swords. So you use your perception, you use your psychic abilities, which Lexi the Leo is going to go in much detail about. So please go check out her reading. But you use your perceptive abilities in a very practical sense. You're able to sort of gauge who is for you, who is not for you, what you will be able to gain out of the situation from a given person. And you're also very good as a leader, because all these abilities, you sort of understand that, okay, maybe one person is good with tech, maybe one person is good with marketing, so you can assemble like a very powerful group of people who can really function as one unit. And you're sort of the glue keeping things together. You're sort of the sun keeping the solar system in place. Pile number 1. Pile number 2, you may have some messages in pile number 1, since I said that. But you really have that ability. And you're very quick at also changing direction. Like if you see that certain things are not working out, you will willingly give yourself up and go into hangman mode, where you're really not wasting time and not making it an ego thing, but actually flipping the script, flipping your own ego on its head, and you're able to sort of see that what is not working out and what new sort of ways you have to go about doing things. So again, you don't waste time. And this also makes you really, really admirable, because everyone wants to be on your team pile number two, even if you don't feel that way. Even if you feel you like to do things alone at times, but you're someone who's meant to be with people, you're meant to lead people, you're meant to show people the way, and it comes to you naturally. I don't even think it's something you go out of your way to do. It's like, oh, let me just help you with this. You're very that, you're very forthcoming with all the love you have to share, and you genuinely care for people. That's why people love collaborating with you. You could be someone, pile number two, who gets a lot of people to collaborate with, you know and you're a hard worker. Your work ethic is just beyond. I'm getting like Beyonce work ethic. Like you work like a burger. You're very meticulous. You read the fine print. You don't leave any mistakes. You don't leave any room for mistakes, pile number two. I really want you to understand this. You're very meticulous. You will put in the hours, you'll put in the days, months, whatever it is required of you to get it right. You're really someone who has this perfectionist tendency that may work against you at times, but usually it helps you just become very flawless, and you do achieve a state of perfection, if not perfection. And you may not even always give yourself a pat on the back for it, which I really think you need to do more than you have. You have to sort of acknowledge your ability to create, and that is your strongest sort of external superpower over here. You're able to create things, you know and you sort of understand the laws of creation and destruction, and you understand that endings are just beginnings. And you're sort of able to transmute the ending into a beautiful new beginning for you. Like, for example, if I gave you a land which is completely barren, horrible soil, you would be very good at getting everyone around that village or that property, and you'd be very good at telling people what they would be good at doing, and also working with them and getting things done. You're very good at operating like a hive mind. You sort of understand what everyone's job is and how perfectly it would suit their portfolio, and how they would also be happy doing that. And you sort of create this very smooth machine. A lot of y'all could even be tarot readers over here, astrologers or something like that, where you have a public platform where you're sort of distilling knowledge and giving it to people in a very practical way. Even if you're not doing any of that, you could very much be like an architect. You sort of understand the land, you understand structure, and you're able to see on land, what is working, what is not working. Again, you're using your psychic abilities, you're using your perception over here. I'm getting this image of like a robot with those laser eyes, and the robot can just scan the situation perfectly, and it'll just come up with the right answer. That's how you are, pile number two. That's how best I can explain it right now, I feel. But yes, your work ethic is again something people are perhaps even jealous of, because they don't understand what motivates you so much to do what you do. A lot of y'all could even be pursuing some very unconventional careers over here, but you're very good at it, and you're able to make money which most people wouldn't be able to make money off. And a lot of people wouldn't even do it. Wouldn't A lot of people wouldn't even take that risk. But you're a very big risk taker, and your risks always pay off, by number two. I really want you to understand that. you know and I really want you to understand, pile number two, that you're going to be able to create such a great legacy out of this, out of your abilities, out of your natural leadership abilities. You're meant to create abundance out of this. Eight of Pentacles, and below that we have Ten of Pentacles. All your hard work is going to pay off in major ways than you can even realize right now. I really want you to understand this, pile number two. It's really important that you understand that the work you're doing is much bigger than you realize it is right now. And yes, you keep yourself very humble by doing your everyday chores. you know but understand that you have a very big destiny. You're able to create big things, and you're going to create big things. So really start thinking big. because you will be actually able to achieve whatever you sort of desire over here, you know. And you're very balanced in your approach, which means you can really sustain yourself and maintain yourself for the long run. You're not the kind of person who would just get the hottest body and like, or maybe the surgery or whatever, and like not do the aftercare. You're someone who does the aftercare, and that is something that really sets you apart from a lot of other people, because a lot of people are not very grounded about the things they want, and even if they get it, since they're not so grounded, they're not able to fully appreciate it. But you are able to fully appreciate the small things. And I definitely see that you're someone who enjoys finding joy in the small things. You sort of understand that big changes do not happen without the small changes. You sort of have this worker ant mentality, but you can also be the queen bee of the honeycomb. You can be both people at the same time, pile number two, which makes you great at a managerial position, at a CEO position, and it also makes you great at getting things done working position. you know like, for example, you could very much end up being like a personal assistant to like maybe a mayor, whereas you have it within you to be a mayor over here. So it's really important over here to truly acknowledge what your worth is, and keep pushing keep pushing that limit up. Because the more you realize the more worthy you are, the bigger achievements you will be able to have. And I think with you it's a lot of that. You have this very passionate, desirable energy. A lot of people may even just find you super attractive just because of how passionate you are about what you do or what you speak about, your work. You're so driven by it all, you know that it also makes you super attractive to people. But you're not someone who gets swayed. You're very laser focused on your goals. And again, that is something that's a very that's a very powerful personality trait to have, to not get swayed easily by things. Because you inherently understand that even the nice things will lead to suffering, but what you are seeking is pure bliss, and you will be able to achieve it. And you will be able to really create the kind of empire you want. A lot of y'all in pile number two, what you're going to be creating with your ability to create, is empires. You have this external strength and ability and endurance to really create something from ground up. And that is super powerful. That is super powerful. You understand that even if you are in a bad circumstance, you're not going to be there for a very, very long time. The wheel will turn into your favor, and you strike when the iron is hot. You really use that opportunity you are given, and you make the most of it. And you get the most of it because you make the most of it, because you're using your ability to perceive things in a very practical, logical way. So again, this really even sets you apart. Maybe even if even if you are in like a corporate space, or where there's just like a lot of competition. You really beat the competition by not even fighting them, but by just doing your thing. And I really feel this pile particularly, you do have a lot of people that are maybe trying to throw a wrench in your plans, but understand that they will never be able to really bring you down. And in fact, it is just giving you fuel to go even harder, work even harder, and achieve even bigger things, because you very much can. You have the aptitude for it. A lot of people may have told you that you have big destinies. A lot of people have told you that you will go places, and you will. Because you're not someone who gives up. You're not someone who's gonna give up on the third month of gymming. You're gonna go through it all. You're gonna go through all the fives. In the tarot we have five of swords, five of pentacles. You go through that grief, you go through that strife. You go through that most sort of difficult period, because you understand that that itself is not going to last very, very long. And that makes you really unbeatable. I think a lot of people do want to beat you, but they just simply cannot. Because you're not even in the same league as them. Pile number two, I really want you to understand this. you know you're also very strong and powerful when it comes to pouring yourself back. You moderate yourself, you moderate things around you. You understand that you just cannot keep doing one thing. You're very balanced in your approach, and you have a very dynamic balance. You understand that balance in one moment is not going to look like balance in the next. So you can really sort of tiptoe and really balance things out whenever required. When you're not able to find balance, pile number two, you give yourself the pause, you give yourself the time out, so you don't work yourself up. You really simplify your mind. So you sort of get these divine downloads. It's very interesting. We have the Queen of Swords, the Hangman, and Temperance. Your perception, your ability to perceive things and psychoanalyze things, and even just analyze things, it is coming because you're so balanced, and you understand that when things are going out of your way and things are really working against you, you don't resist. You sort of just surrender to the flow. You understand that even the resistance is actually working in your favor. So you save yourself a lot of grief, you save yourself a lot of time, and you're able to align yourself to your highest path very easily without taking much effort. You do it very seamlessly, you do it very effortlessly, but this is again a very external manifestation of your internal abilities. you know it's like this wired link that you have within. It's sort of like wireless Wi-Fi. You just it just snaps and it clicks and you just do it. Which a lot of people are not able to, because they're just so tunnel visioned about things that they're not able to come up with innovative ideas. They would just probably panic instead of putting the fire out, metaphorically. you know I'll shuffle some oracle. Anything I missed? Okay, pile number two, we have the cat and we have the dolphin, and the cat reads, independent, you are a natural healer. Your intuition is strong. You don't have to go with the crowd. Life supports you in every way. So, like I said, you have a very, very powerful intuition. And, please do go check out Lexi the Leo's reading, where she'll go really in depth on, your psychic abilities and your internal powers. But, you're able to really throw your gaze out. You're able to really perceive things for what they are using your intuitive abilities. So you're able to come up to some very, very logical conclusions. And you can maintain a sort of objectivity that is not afflicted by your own emotions. You really understand that it is not personal. And when you understand this, pile number two, that's just half the battle won, because you're not going to be caught, and you're not going to make yourself very claustrophobic in just your self-referentiality, which a lot of people do. You don't confine yourself to your ego. You understand that the ego also has to dissolve, and you're very, very independent, so you're not someone who cares about validation at all. If you have to go walk your own path, if you really have to go against the tide, you're going to very much go and do it, which a lot of people wouldn't. A lot of people would want to conform. you know you're like a cat. A cat is just going to go and do whatever it wants, right? The cat is the boss. The people who have pet cats, they're basically just praying to the cat. The cat is the god. And you are very godlike. And you have this very godlike ability of actually creating things in the world. You don't sort of get lost in the mysticism. You bring the mysticism on earth to people. You make it accessible. And that makes you super, super powerful. But despite all this, despite having this very strong connection with your higher self, you're very, very grounded. You're very playful. You're also very loyal. And I think you do wear your heart on your sleeve, or at least you used to. I think your experiences have made you more discerning about who to trust and who not to trust. And you don't really take a chance on your intuition. You really listen to it. I would say everyone is intuitive, but most people do listen to their intuition, and very few people actually do what their intuition says them to do. And you're someone who takes action based on your intuition, therefore you're able to really create whatever you sort of want over here. And the dolphin card reads, play. Swim in the happy joy of living, inhale confidence and exhale fear. Dive into your own wisdom, go with the flow. So like I said, you take the path of least resistance. You understand that if something is going against you right now, it's probably happening for your benefit. So you're probably saving yourself from a pitfall. You're very smart. you're very smart and you're very psychic, and you have a very practical way of putting your intuition to use, where you would even help other people, definitely. Or this is very much like a call for you to start doing that if you're already not doing that. Pile number 2. Any other messages? Yeah, that's all I have for pile number 2. Is again, it's a general reading. So please take what resonates, leave the rest. And if you like my style of reading, please like this video, share, subscribe, comment. It means a lot. It helps the channel grow. And if you want to reach out for a private reading, you can definitely do that. My email ID and my Instagram handle are given in the description box below, so you can definitely reach out for a private reading. And please do go check out the second part of this reading on Lexi the Leo's channel. I will link it in the description box below, where she's covering what are your strongest internal superpowers, your strongest psychic abilities, and your healing abilities. So please definitely go check out that reading. Go binge watch all her readings. Go binge watch all her readings, because we all know and love Lexi the Leo. So please go do that. And I will see you guys in the next reading. Thank you. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose the 𝐘𝐿 card, this is your reading on what are your strongest external superpowers and your strongest personality traits and willpower. Please do go check out the second part of this reading on Lexi the Leo's channel, where she's covering what are your strongest internal superpowers, what are your strongest psychic abilities, and your healing abilities. So we're asking angels, ancestors, spirit guides, ascended master, star family today, what is my pile number 3's strongest external superpowers, personality traits, and willpower? Okay, pile number 3, we have the 9 of Swords, the Moon, 5 of Pentacles, the Star, 10 of Wands, 8 of Cups, King of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, and Judgment. And we have the 𝐘𝐿 card, which is very interesting. Let's start there, It's a card about darkness. It's about a time of testing, but yet something is being planted in that time of darkness, and I feel this has happened with you a lot, I feel you have had these phases in your life where it probably went from one progressive bad moment to the next. But what was happening was you were sort of crystallizing your spiritual self in that process. You were sort of getting access to your higher self through these very, very difficult lessons. And I feel this pile particularly feels more spiritual than the other two I did. Pile number 3, you definitely could be tarot readers. You definitely could be my psychic babes, my astrologers, my Reiki healers, my yoga teachers, my Tai Chi teachers, You could very much work with energy over here. And not just energy, you could very much work with darkness, is what I'm predominantly getting, because we have 9 of Swords and we have the Moon with 5 of Pentacles and we have the 𝐘𝐿 card. 𝐘𝐿 rules the undead in the Egyptian mythology. He rules the realm of the dead. When you sort of die and you go into the land of the dead, it's sort of ruled by 𝐘𝐿, So 𝐘𝐿 is like a very big deal in the underworld, basically. And you probably don't realize this about yourself, but the amount of darkness that you can withstand and then sort of create something out of that darkness moving forward, it is a very big deal. It's not as common as you think, And I feel you're very, very enduring. You're just a very tough person. You're a tough nut to crack. Definitely, pile number 3. You're very stubborn. You also take on a lot of people's problems. You probably are not very good at learning to say no to people. Maybe you are in the process of learning to say no to people, but you definitely have this tendency where you will take on other people's burdens, even if you probably shouldn't. You do it out of the niceness of your heart. You do it out of just you being a great human being. Like I said, you've gone through a lot of darkness. You've definitely gone through a lot of darkness in your own personal life, and I think you're just coming into a place where you're finally understanding why things had to be the way they did. And I think you're very much also walking in your North Node purpose and realizing your spiritual purpose here as well. I think finally you understand that you are here for a reason. You have a job to do, and you're very focused on getting it done. And your path hasn't been easy. Your path definitely hasn't been what most people take. You've definitely gone down the road less traveled, so to speak, over here. Pile number 3. You're very okay being in darkness. You're very okay being abandoned, but you haven't abandoned yourself, pile number 3, which is really something that sets you apart from other people, because you very much had the choice to abandon yourself and you didn't. You have that conviction in yourself. You just know, and you also have a lot of self-love. You're very protective of yourself, and that's just an inherent personality trait that you have that a lot of people don't. I really want you to understand this. To a lot of people on the outside, you seem very sorted. People see that you're sort of living in your own world, and I do think that is true, but that's not necessarily the case. I think you're very, very observant, and you're someone who will walk away from things if that's really not serving you anymore. You're very strong. Your cutoff game is also very strong, is what I'm picking up over here. You move on from things very, very fast, pile number three. You're not someone who's going to be stuck in the rut. I think once you have the mental clarity of what the situation was, once you see the situation for the truth of it, you will set yourself free and just walk away. And it's very interesting on the 𝐘𝐐𝐑 card. Here we have the bird sort of planting the seed into this mummy, and we have that very similar imagery on the Ace of Pentacles here as well, where you're sort of being given something very divine over here. You're given a divine opportunity which you can actually materialize in the real world. So you could very much be the center point for heaven, hell, and earth. A lot of y'all could very much be channelers. A lot of y'all in this pile could be channelers. You have this ability of actually taking all this beautiful psychic, spiritual, higher dimensional energy that you have, which I do think you definitely have. You're super, super psychic, and you should definitely go check out Lexi the Leo's reading on her channel, where she goes more in deep about your internal abilities. But the way you can actually use them externally, you're very good at it. It's almost like you work in tandem with your spirit guides, your ancestors, your angels. So they sort of guide you how to manifest. You don't need to be told, and you definitely listen to the call as well. And you since you are so on your feet, you have been able to materialize a lot of opportunities which a lot of people wouldn't usually be able to. You understand that in your own destruction, you can grow. You understand this inherently. And a lot of people just waste time kicking and screaming, not embracing the change. Pile number three, you embrace change once you understand the change, you know. And I think you may get very confused, you may get very paranoid between your psychic gifts and what is you, what is divine, but you almost have this inner filter which just sort of brings you back to the truth, you know and you're very tapped in. You're very, very tapped in. Like I said, Lexi the Leo, I'm sure she's going to go more into detail on this, but we have the star card, so you can quite literally take all this heavenly energy and put it down to earth. You sort of pour all this divine love onto yourself, and through that you channel it onto other people, and you have that balance. You have that understanding. You have that understanding that you exist at different dimensions, therefore you can affect different dimensions being in one place. You really understand time and space very, very well, is what I'm trying to say over here, pile number three. And you use it to your advantage when it comes to manifesting. You're also a very natural born leader. You have natural born leadership abilities, you have natural born leadership traits, even if you don't see yourself like that, pile number three. And you're very, very divine. I feel like this pile particularly is also very much in touch with their ancestors. You're getting a lot of messages from the other side, which we'll take that as confirmation, and I'm take that also as confirmation, and Lexi the Leo is definitely going to go more into detail on that. But a lot of y'all could even be mediums over here, and you could be using your mediumship abilities in a very practical way. You could very much be a medium on YouTube, for example. I'm just giving an example over here, but whatever you do, whatever craft you have, whatever art you have, you're meant to practice that in a very worldly sense. You're meant to be seen practicing that. I really want you to understand this. You're meant to have an audience, pile number three. Whatever you do, whatever you say, it has a lot of importance, and the kind of things you are able to get through, most people wouldn't be able to. You have this resilience about you. You understand spiritual tests. You understand initiation. You understand how important initiations are for spiritual progress. So like I said, you're not going to be kicking and screaming when you go through a tower moment. You're just going to embrace it. You're going to be like, okay, oh well, and keep it moving, which saves you so much time, energy, and efforts. And it also saves you a lot of energy for coming into alignment, because you just naturally fall into alignment when you let go of things. You know, you're very good at letting go of things. Your personality trait is very non-stuck up. You know, you're not very stuck on people for a very, very long time. You know, you don't necessarily have an addictive personality, is what I'm picking up, you know. And if in this file, if you feel you have certain addictions, just understand that you are more powerful than that. You know, it is also a part of you, you know. So you will be able to integrate that in no time, is what I'm trying to say, you know. And it's not like you don't have difficulties, pile number 3. I think you definitely have a lot of difficulties, but it's the way you manage your difficulties, it's the way you rise above it all, it's the way you sort of use your difficulties to your advantage, and you know, you really make the most of any given situation, you know. And you have a very strong will, you have a very resolute will. Your will is not shaken, you know. Even if you have a lot of things on you, if you have a lot of responsibilities on you, you're going to make it through till the end, you know. You're going to really follow it through, and this is also how you're going to gain a lot of abundance that you're hoping to have in your life. You're meant to be super rich, pile number 3. Whether you are rich right now or not, you're meant to be, you know. And all your hard work is going to pay off, you know. All the labor that you do, all the toil that you do, you know, all the meticulous work that you do, it'll all come back to you. I really want you to understand this, you know. And like I said, you know, you listen. You actually listen when you have been told something, especially when the messages are coming from up. You know, you apply it in your own personal life. You could also, like I said, be a channel to other people, like a tarot reader. Or, you know, even if you are like in a very worldly job, you sort of use these divine insights and push yourself further and further to where you truly need to be, you know. And this is something that makes you unstoppable, you know. People, even if they try to throw a wrench in your plans, it doesn't really work, you know. It doesn't really work, you know. You're a go-getter. You're not going to stop for anyone or anything, and you're not going to be hung up about things, you know. Pilametry, I really want you to understand this one thing, that all these abilities that you have, that's just who you are, you know. So you don't understand that what you're actually able to do with these abilities is you're actually jumping timelines. You're sort of jumping yourself to your highest potential timeline, you know. And you're very good at doing that. Like I said, you know, in the beginning of the reading, you understand the phases of life. You understand the moments of darkness are so important for what is to come, you know. And I feel you've had a lot of that. You've had a lot of darkness, you know, and you've had a lot of distractions, but it is something that you have really used to your advantage, you know. You can alchemize the situation to your advantage, and you can transmute dense energies, you know. You're not afraid of doing shadow work, you know. And that's why I'm picking up that this is a highly psychic pile, because only psychics can sort of be in darkness for a very, very long time, you know. Only psychics and mystics are able to sort of, you know, traverse the abyss. And you know, you're very much traversing the abyss, and I think a lot of y'all have done that even without realizing, you know. You've had, if an average person has 5 dark nights of the soul, you know, you've had 20. Pile number 2, pile number 3, you may have some messages in pile number 2, you know, since I said that. But you're not afraid of tests, you know. You say like, bring it on, you know. And again, I'm getting 9 of wands, even if you don't have it over here, you know. You're going to defeat your terrain till the end, you know. You're going to really hold it down for yourself and for other people, you know. And this makes you really, really powerful. This makes you really one of a kind, and no one can really change you. No one can like really replace you. I want you to understand this, pile number 3. This is really important for you to understand. You are one of a kind, and you definitely have a purpose over here. And I feel a lot of y'all are already following your purpose very, very strongly. I feel a lot of y'all in this pile are even scared of your own power, pile number 3 especially, you know. And especially if you do some kind of psychic work, I think you're very afraid of your own potential, and you're very afraid of your own power. And you have to understand that just because you don't want to be a leader, that makes you the perfect leader, you know. People who are truly meant to lead don't want to lead people, you know. You're just so focused on, you know, improving yourself, but you have to understand that you can actually extend it to other people. And I feel a lot of y'all are going to be doing that, you know. You're going to be sharing your light with other people, and really being that person for other people, that, you know, it's like, you know, you go through your own darkness, you learn your lesson, and then you be a guide to other people. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm picking up a very strong guide energy. You're able to guide people through darkness, and that's how you sort of you use all your super psychic abilities and actually manifest it into a real world way. And we really need people like you, pile number three. We truly need people like you, especially in this era that we live in, because you're very good at seeing what is real and what is not real. And you can apply this to any and everything in your life, to spiritual things or to very mundane things. You always take the right path because you listen and you understand that you don't always have to go out of your way and do things to prove yourself to get to where you need to be. You're very sorted, like I said. Pile number three is super super sorted. I'm gonna shuffle some more. Okay, we have two cards. We have the raccoon and we have butterfly. And even on the raccoon card, we have the butterfly. So the raccoon card reads, decide on what you truly want. You have the ingenuity to claim it. Avoid being the trickster and practice integrity. You have many roles and can juggle them well. You are a bit of a shapeshifter, pile number three. Please understand this about yourself. This is a personality trait you have to sort of shape shift. And you're not just shape shifting, what you're also doing is timeline shifting. You're like a timeline shifter. Yes, it's a word now. So you're definitely a timeline shifter, because a caterpillar is on land, and when it transforms into a butterfly, it becomes a higher being, it becomes a lighter being. It can sort of transcend its physical limitations to ascend to a higher plane of existence. And that's what you do in a very practical sense. A lot of y'all, I feel, have been very naturally spiritual, and you didn't even understand why you were so spiritual. But I think a lot of y'all are going to realize your own spirituality and why you did certain things that you did. Because a lot of y'all, for a lot of y'all, time is not very linear, and you use it to your advantage over here. You really push yourself and catalyze yourself into the most intense, the most deep, the most like never before seen transformations, pile number three. And the butterfly card reads rebirth. Thank you for the confirmation, spirit. You can now reinvent yourself, open to the reward of change. You have brilliance to share with the world. Love every part of your journey. You're very humble. You really respect where you have come from, and you understand that you can be whoever you choose to be, and you can also be very paradoxical people at the same time. You understand that you can put on different hats, and I see you putting on different hats. You could be a mom, you could be a mystic, you could be a wife, you could be a friend, you could be a therapist, you could be a counselor, you could even be a teacher, you could even be in your dark feminine energy. You're all of those things in one, and you understand this inherently. You're not confused by it. You're sort of able to manage your ego with all these different egos that you have. You're really able to sort of recalibrate yourself at different dimensions, and therefore you're able to get through the most difficult of the challenges. You're very innovative. You have what you have is talent, and I think you're very talented in getting out of situations that even people who sort of put you in that situation didn't think that you would make it through. You have a warrior's soul. You're very formidable, pile number three. And a lot of people realize in a much difficult way that they should have never messed with you. Because you have a fire about you, and you understand to keep that fire. You know how to maintain that fire. You don't burn yourself out. And like I said, a lot of y'all are meant to lead in this fire. Y'all are natural born leaders. You're meant to have an effect on the collective, whether you choose to do it or not, or how you choose to do it. It doesn't matter whether you do it in your city without getting online, or whether you only choose to do it online. But you're meant to affect a lot of people, and all your experiences, I feel a lot of your own experiences will make sense to you when you start sharing them. Alchemy happens through spoken word also. You're sort of speaking it into the ethers, and it really changes the vibration of everything stuck within you. And you're quite literally, like I said, bridge between heaven, earth, and hell. You're very much a shaman, pile number three. And a shaman's job is not just to go through their own shamanic journey. Yes, it is. But because they've gone through that, they can help other people now. And you are a guide of sorts. Whether you choose to do it in a very spiritual, psychic sense, or whether you choose to do it in a very worldly, like esteem building, career coaching kind of way. It doesn't matter, but you're meant to do this however you choose to go about it. That is really your choice. And it's a general reading, so it's going to be different for everyone in this pile. But acknowledge that your external superpowers are also kind of psychic. You're sort of straddling these two worlds very effortlessly and very well. And I don't even think a lot of y'all are realizing what you're doing. So let's see, the Leo is definitely going to go more into detail on your inner psychic abilities, so please definitely go check out that reading on her channel. Any other messages? Yeah, that's all I have for pile number 3. So again, it's a general reading, so please take what resonates, leave the rest. And if you like my style of reading, please like this video, share, subscribe, comment. It means a lot. It helps the channel grow. And if you want to reach out for a private reading, you can definitely do that. My email ID and my Instagram handle are given in the description box below. And please do go check out the second part of this reading on Lexi the Leo's channel, which is she's going to be covering what are your strongest internal superpowers, your highly psychic abilities, and your healing abilities. And pile number 3 is super psychic, so you definitely need to go check out her reading. And I will see you guys in our next reading. Thank you.